Hello, everybody. We want to welcome you to Lebanon's Church One Kick and Bible Study here tonight. This is Pastor Benjamin here. We are in a Bible study. We decided as a church to start going through the Bible together. Whether we can pronounce all the names or not, we will go through the Bible together so that we can all be on one accord. Well, we started this journey a while ago back in the book of Genesis, and from there we've been working 2 or 3 chapters here a night. And we have worked our way down to the book of Samuel here, First Samuel, and we are in the 23rd and 24th chapter. We'll soon be walking out of the first chapter, First Samuel, and get into the second Samuel. So, just to give you guys an update, Samuel started off being the prophet, and Samuel is Hannah's son, whom she brought unto Eli, and Eli and the Lord called them, and Samuel kids messed up, and then they decided that we wanted a king, and so Samuel's first job was to appoint Saul as king. Saul just wouldn't quite do everything that God said, and so God got tired of him and said, "Hey, I'm gonna give me another king after my own heart." And all of a sudden, David began to come in scene. So First Samuel is more about Saul rise and fall, and David get set up. And then Second Samuel, you hear more about David here. Why is it called Samuel? Well, because in the old days, when you were a prophet or one of the major prophets, you probably had a scribe or someone to write down, what occurred within your life. So this is what occurred within the life of Samuel after he succeeded Eli or Elijah. And so this is what God is sharing with you. So we'll say this is established in the time of Samuel here. And so the title is David inquired of the Lord yet again, and the Lord answered him and said, Arise. And so anytime that David have a problem, he go before God. Remember what we learned Saturday, that, God wants us to have this relationship with him where we can come to him. Now remember, we all came in this world, we are blind. We are literally blind to the spiritual nature or the spiritual things or the spiritual blessing that God had. Okay? And God wants us to naturally seek him, and God is going to enlighten us by opening our eyes or revealing to us the things that we need to make into this world. So therefore, I'm learning not to try to fix every part of my life, but just to go to God. Okay, Lord, here I am now. What do I need to do? Because I understand that I have a purpose, that God have a purpose for me. And because God had it, I can't truly live that purpose until I get it. And I hope that be fair and sound here. So now here come David here. God have anointed this man to be king. He didn't tell David what time or when he was going to be king, because David had a problem. Throughout the whole book of First Samuel, Saul is trying to kill David after God has said, I'm going to make you a king. Well, if you listen and read this book from start to finish, First Samuel here, you would notice that David, even though he knew he was going to be king, didn't try to go kill the king that was there. David said, if God put him there, that's God anointed. I can't touch his anointed. Even though he's wicked, God is going to have to move him. See, it's the same thing with me. I can't touch the people that God loves. I have to wait until God move them or improve them. And that's what I'm trying to get you guys to see. God loves what you love, but God is going to move the way he's going to move, just like he's getting ready to move in King David life here. All right, let's get into the text here. Samuel 23. There's 29 verses in here. Then they told David, saying, Behold, the Philistine is fighting in Kirjar, if I'm saying this right, and they are robbing the threshing floor. And David inquired of the Lord, saying, Shall I go and smite these Philistines? And the Lord said unto David, Go and smite those Philistines and save Kirjar, if I'm saying it right. And David men said unto him, Behold, we be afraid here in Judah. How much more, than if we come unto Kiddush again, the army of the Philistines. In other words, what happened is that Saul, okay, was seeking out David's life. And so David never ran to Kiddash, however you said. And they was always under the threat of them. So David see an opportunity. The Philistine is fighting. Instead of fighting Saul, he's going to fight God's true enemy. And so they was afraid because of what Saul was seeking to kill them. Okay. Then he was saying, well, why should we go fight the Philistine when this sucker is trying to kill us too? Okay. And David man said unto him, behold, we be afraid. That's what it means here in Judah. How much more then if we come to Kiddash against the army of the Philistines? And David required of the Lord yet again. Okay. So now David going to come back to God again because, okay, Lord, I believe you want me to go, but I'm not sure. So David going to go back. Look at the relationship that he's having with God. His faith is not making him to be more than what it is. He is simply making sure he's with God. Then David inquired of the Lord again, and the Lord answered him and said, arise and go down to Kiddash, and I can't see the rest of that because my computer is acting up. So you guys can check the rest of it for. But anyway, God told him go, and God was going to be with him. And David said and so David and his men went unto Kiddash, just as God told them, and fought with the Philistines. And they brought they brought away their chariots and smite them with a great slaughter. So David saved the habitation of Kiddash. And it came to pass when oh my God, whoever the son of Abimelech fled to David to Kiddash, and he came down with the ephod in his hand. And it was told to Saul. Now here comes Saul again. That David was come. That David was come to Kiddash, however you said. And Saul said, God has delivered him unto my hand. Now here it is. Saul knew that God didn't want him to kill David because he knew that David was going to be the king. Or he had an idea. For he is shut in and entered into the town that had gates and bars. And Saul called the people together to war to go down into Kiddash. That's where they going. And David and David knew that Saul secretly mystery against him. So David knew that he was going to practice or pursue to kill him. And he said unto Abiathar the priest, bring me hither the ephod. What do you need the ephod for? Because he's going to pray. And David said, O Lord, thou God of Israel, thy servant has certainly heard the voice of Saul seek to come to Kiddash to destroy the city for my sake. Will the men of Kiddash deliver me up unto their hands, or will Saul come down, as thy servant has heard? O Lord, God of Israel, I beseech thee, tell thee servants. And the Lord said, he will come down. Now here's the thing. Now you have to understand how this works. David ain't using his faith to do anything. Okay, David believed in God. What David is doing, this is classic. He is receiving instruction from God. Okay, Lord, I'm in this situation. Okay, I need to know what I need to do. And so that's what he's doing. He's coming to God, trying to figure out what he needs to do. Okay. Then said David, will the man of Kiddash deliver me and my men into the hands of Saul? So now he's asking God, if these people, I just saved the city. Now, if these people going to give me up, and the Lord said, they would deliver thee up. Why? Because Saul is anointed king of God. Sure, they don't know that Saul is doing all these evil things against David. Okay. Then David and his man, which was 600, arose and departed from Kiddash and went whithersoever they would go. And it was told Saul that David was escaped from Kiddash, and he forbid to go further. Now, so now David knew what to do because he understood what was going to happen. So God told off on him, yeah, these men's going to give you up. And yes, Saul going to come and try to kill you. Okay? And David abided in the wilderness in strongholds, and remaineth in the mountains, in the wilderness of Zappah and Zippah, however you said. And Saul saw him every day, but God delivered him not unto his hand. And David saw that Saul was come out to seek his life. And David was in the wilderness of Zippah in the woods. And Jonathan, Saul's son, arose and went to David unto the woods, and strengthened his hand in the God. In other words, Jonathan go there, and when he say he strengthened his hand in God, he went there and just told his brother, God is going to bless you. God is going to keep you. And he encouraged him to trust in what God is doing and trust in the process. And Saul is trying to kill this man. You see, and so David had to stay in character. He had to stay in it. He went to the Philistines at one point and acted like he was mad. And, it didn't work the way he wanted to work. So he ended up going into hiding and all these wonderful things. But understand, the promise of God is still working with David. So now here's Jonathan out here preaching to him, ministering to him. It's going to be all right. Okay, 17. And he said unto him, fear not, David. For the hands of Saul my father shall not find thee, and thou shalt be king over Israel. Now he prophesies, and it shall be, and I shall be next unto thee. And that also Saul my father knoweth. And he said, now Saul know that you have anointing on your life. So be strong. Understand, I know that trouble come at you, David, but you have to be strong because God is working his process. God is working his thing now. Okay. And they two made a covenant before the Lord. Again, this is the second time. And David abided in the woods, and Jonathan went into his house. And it then came up the Ziphites, however, to Saul in Gilbal. What's the name of this place? And saying, did not David hide himself with us in the strongholds in the woods and in the hills or wherever that place is, which is on the south of what's that? Jessamine, however that is. Now therefore, O king, come down according to all that desire of thy soul to come down, and our part shall be to deliver him up into the king's hands. And Saul said, blessed be ye the Lord, for ye have compassion on me. Now Saul know that he was doing wrong. Okay, so don't get twisted because people they go to church. Most of them they know that they wrong, and they will deceive other people along in their mistress because of they know that they was wrong. Hold on for a second. So they know that they would be wrong, and so they will try to get you to go along with something that God didn't. Okay, go, I pray thee, prepare ye, yeah. And know and see his place, whether he hunt is, his hunt is, or who has seen him there. And if thou, if it is told, in other words, you can't see the bottom of the screen. For some reason, my computer is acting up. But anyway, he was saying, if he is spotted, come and let me know. Okay. 23. See therefore, and take knowledge of all the lurking places where where he hid himself, and come ye again to me with the certainty. In other words, go spy out, see everything he's doing, and come and let me know. And I will go with thee. And it shall come to pass, if he be in the land, that I will search him out throughout all the thousands of Judah. And they rose and went to Zipporah before Saul, but David and his men were in the wilderness I don't know that name, in the plains on the south side of Jessam, or whatever that name is here. And my computer just started acting right. Ain't that something? All right, we going to go into on to the 29th here. So pretty much Saul is proving David. Now he have made this covenant with these other people, which he know he's wicked, and David is still um, moving about doing what he need to do. Now, here's the thing that you need to understand. When you are fighting for God, you start trying to be saved, okay? When I say trying to be saved, because just because you make the confession, you're going to have to go through the things that you need to do so God can pull all the mess out of you, just like all of us, okay? So, so David is going through the process here, right? Look at all the different challenges that David had. Now, is David doing anything? Is David hurting anybody? David is still fighting God's enemy. And he literally have to kind of sort of ignore Saul and be wise enough. He goes into trouble. He goes to God. God tell him when to go. God tell him when to stay. This is what I want you guys to be. This is why I understand salvation. God is the head of us. He's going to tell us when to go. He's going to tell us when to leave. 25. Saul also and his men went to seek him, and they told David, wherefore he came down unto the rock and abided in the wilderness of what's that Mush, Mesham, however that is. And when Saul heard that, he pursued after David in the wilderness of whatever this place is. And Saul went on the side of the mountains, on one side of the mountain, and David and his men on the other side, on that side of the mountain. And David made a haste to go for fear of Saul. For Saul and his men come past David and his men round about to take them. And but there came a messenger unto Saul, saying, haste thee, come, the Philistine is invading the land. Now all of a sudden trouble came up on them. Now look how God pulled David enemy away from him by bringing trouble on the other side. Look how God do it. Wherefore Saul returned from pursuing after David and went against the Philistine. Therefore they call this place wherever that long name is. If you can pronounce it, may God bless you. 29. And David went up from thence and dwelled in the stronghold of whatever the name of that place is as well. Can't get out the name of this place. All right. That is 23. Saul is pursuing David. God is still holding his anointing. The Bible says in this world, you're going to have trouble. But be of good cheer because I overcame the world. God knew every move that Saul was going to make. And every time David asked him a question, he get the answer. I hope you guys, excuse me, is getting the relationship between your troubles and God. All right. We're in 1 Samuel here, 24, chapter here on the 22nd verse. And it came to pass when Saul was returned from following the Philistine, that it was told him, saying, behold, David is in the wilderness of Engis, however that is. And Saul took 3,000 chosen men out of Israel and went to seek David. Now he goes back doing mystery, and his men came to the rock of the wilderness of in the rock of the wild goat, and he came to the sheepcote by the way, where was a cave, and Saul went in the cave. Saul went in to cover his feet, and David and his men remained in the side of the cave. And the men of David said unto him, behold, the day of the Lord, the day which the Lord said is upon thee. Behold, I will deliver thy enemy into thy hand. And look here. Now this time, Saul is in a compromising position, and David had the opportunity to kill him. But pay attention what David did. That thou mayest go do to him as it shall seem good unto thee. And David rose up and cut off the skirt of Saul's robe, of Saul's robe privily. And it came to pass afterwards, David's heart smote him, because he had cut off Saul's robe. Touch not my wood prophet, and do my heart anointed know him. And even just by cutting off his robe, the Lord dinged his heart. Okay? And he said unto his men, the Lord forbid that I shall do these things unto my master, the Lord anointed, to stretch forth my hand against him, seeing he is anointed of God. In other words, even though he was wicked, David understood that God is going to have to deal with this problem here. So now he cut off his skirt. Now let's see what David did. All right. So David stayed his servants with his words, and suffered them not to rise up against Saul. But Saul rose up out of the cave and went his way. And David also rose afterward and went out of the cage and cried after Saul, saying, My lord, the king. And when Saul looked behind him, David stood with his face to the earth and bowed himself. And David said unto Saul, Wherefore have thou men's wherefore hearest thou men's words, saying, Behold, David seek thy hurt. In other words, who told you I'm here to hurt you? And behold, this day thy eyes have seen how the Lord had delivered thee to the day unto my hands in the cave. And some bid me to kill thee, but my eyes spared thee. And I said, I will not put forth my hand against my Lord, for he is the Lord's anointed. Moreover, my father, see the skirt of thy robe in my hand. For in that I cut off thy skirt of thy robe, and killed thee not, knowing thou and see that there is neither either nor transgression in my hand. And I have not sinned against thee, yet thou huntest my soul to take it. They were saying I could have killed you, but I didn't. And the Lord judged between me and you, and the Lord avenged me of thee. But my hand shall not be unto thee. In other words, David said, I don't care. God is going to have to do the judgment. I have to keep my character. I cannot kill you. As said the proverb of the ancients, wickedness proceed from the wicked, but my hand shall not be unto thee. After whom is the king of Israel came out? After whom does pursue? After a dead dog, or after a flea? The Lord therefore be judge, and judge between me and thee, and see, and plead my plead my case, and deliver me out of thy hand. And David and his men uh, get them up into the hole. So David comes to Saul, and he's telling him, God is going to be the judge of this matter. I myself don't have to do anything. God is going to be the judge of this matter. And it came to pass, when David had made the end of speaking these words unto Saul, that Saul said, Is this thy voice, my son David? And Saul lifted up his voice and wept. And he said to David, Thou art more righteous than I, for for thou hast rewarded me good, whereas I have rewarded thee evil. And thou hast showed this day how that thou have dealt well with me. For as much as when the Lord hath delivered me unto thy hand, thou killest me not. For if a man findeth his enemy, will he let him go well away? Wherefore the Lord rewarded thee good, for that thou hast done unto me this day. And now, behold, I know well that thou shalt surely be king, and that the kingdom of Israel shall be established in thy hand. Swear now therefore unto me by the Lord that thou wilt not cut off my seed after me, and that thou wilt not destroy my name out of my father's house. And David swore unto Saul, and Saul went unto the house. But David and his men got them up unto the hole. And that is it. Chapter 23 and 24 of Saul. So I guess I can say the best part of this story is this. I've been saying to you guys all along, the battle is not yours, it's God. The decision to go and stay is not yours, it's God. The decision to bless or to be less is not yours, it's God. You have an opportunity to build a relationship with God where He can direct your path. The Bible said, in all your ways, acknowledge me, and He'll direct your path. He'll tell you where to go. He'll tell you what to do. Let the life of David be sufficient enough for you to understand that God rules in the kingdom of men. See, we were taught to trust everything that we feel. Everything that I feel, I laid aside, and I'm laying hold to the word of God. If the word of God says I'm blessed, then Lord, I need to know what blessed look like so I can operate in the blessing that you got. So you have a right to go before God and ask God, do I stay? Do I go? Do the person that I love, do they love me back? And God will be earnest with you like he was earnest with David. No, you need to leave. Yes, Saul's going to kill you. But there comes a time when the person that's going to kill you, pay attention, God is going to bring them back into your face. And you can do whatever you want to them. But if you let God finish it, you won't have no thing to come up on you. Remember when we said our affirmation, when we said, Lord, forgive me of my debts, or all of my shortcomings. You have to be willing to forgive other people's shortcomings and learn not to get agitated when people have a shortcoming, but to cast spirits out or to pray for people. What is your next response going to be? So that's all I'm going to say to you tonight. David's life is clear. What David did for Saul, if we can learn to understand, if we can apply this to every principle in our life, we would always have that kingship. It's only a matter of time that God is going to make this young man a king. There's nothing Saul can do. And the people who's trying to hurt you, there's nothing they can do. Why? Because the victory belongs to those who belong to God. May God bless you and forever keep you in his care as we get ready to go into live discussion.